Second-year fiction writer, MFA fiction writer Ryan Hyun wants to know if he can file a civil suit against the robbers for his pain and suffering. They took all of his clothes except his tank tops. He hasn't worn them in a while, but are they really so bad that someone wouldn't want them for free? Should he not have ever worn them? Ever bought them? These questions keep Ryan awake at night, and for that, someone should pay. Welcome, Ryan Hyun.
I'm going to read from a story called The Last Dinosaur. In the morning, Sarah went downstairs and looked at her kitchen. It had happened again. Again, thought Sarah. The kitchen table was set and the plates of zucchini spaghetti looked moved and picked at. Forks were still in the food as if people left suddenly, interrupted by an event. Sleepwalking usually made her tired the next day, but her job wasn't demanding. Sarah prepared samples at Costco. She worked early afternoons into evenings, Monday through Friday. Sometimes her supervisor called her in on weekends and there was overtime pay. It was okay. She had turned 29 in September. At Costco, Sarah waited for chicken nuggets to toast inside a countertop oven. The chicken nuggets were dinosaur-shaped and fortified with calcium and iron and vitamin C and D. The box said these things. It didn't seem natural, felt Sarah, for chicken nuggets to provide vitamin C. Calcium and iron she could understand maybe. Sarah didn't know what vitamin D did. The sun did something with vitamin D, she thought. Sarah waited in silence, but eventually remembered how she was supposed to be talking. A laminated handbook kept in the drawer of each section contained phrases demonstrators should use. It's so convenient. Come home from work and dinner is ready in 15 minutes. Conventional oven or microwave is okay. Easy and delicious. Try one and take one home today. Located right behind me in the freezer doors. It's great for parties and for entertaining. The tray of chicken nuggets were starting to turn a golden brown color. Sarah thought of drones randomly. In the near future, drones could do this, warm up food samples and give them to people. Sarah did not feel surprised or afraid at this thought. She kept thinking about the drones and what they would look like, while becoming gradually aware that she didn't feel protective about her job at all. In fact, Sarah kind of hoped for this to happen. It would be good, she felt, for drones to work. It would be good for their character and supply them with a sense of fulfillment and belonging. They would smile sometimes, thinking of themselves in the context of accomplishment. It was maybe already happening in Japan, she thought. Chicken nuggets shaped like dinosaurs, said Sarah in a loud and slightly out of control seeming voice, while removing nuggets from the oven tray with metal tongs. After briefly considering cutting the nuggets in half with large plastic scissors, she decided not to. Portions could be split to make more samples, she knew, if there was a lot of people. It was Friday at 2:30 p.m. and not too busy at Costco. They have calcium, iron, vitamin C, and D, said Sarah. You bake them and then you eat them. Now the tray was ready with chicken nugget dinosaurs resting flat on frilled paper cups. Dead dinosaurs, thought Sarah, looking at them. They had never been alive, but they seemed dead now somehow, lying unabstractly on thin paper beds. They were dead but warm on the inside and capable of distributing some kind of nutrition to other bodies. People moved to be near Sarah. People ate dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets while displaying perfectly neutral facial expressions, while crumpling paper cups into balls while walking away. After doing this for 5 more hours, Sarah sterilized her station and rolled it away to a storage area located next to the lounge that was for Costco employees but not demonstrators. And as she passed the lounge, Sarah heard someone make loud screams of despair repeatedly while losing in a foosball game. Sarah was walking to the exit and stopped at the supplements aisle. She looked at a package of L-tryptophan, which said, quote, establish a relaxed mood and positive mood. Established a relaxed and positive mood, and, quote, achieve deep sleep. Sarah held the plastic package in the air toward the light and almost perfectly parallel to her face for what seemed to be an inappropriately long amount of time as both people and carts passed her. Sarah heard a deep, roar-like sound happen suddenly. Was that a person? She thought while standing still. The package of L-tryptophan fell from Sarah's hand and made a loud noise. Without moving her head, Sarah intuited that people were watching her very closely from several distances in an incrementally tightening perimeter around her. She walked away from the supplements aisle at a weird angle, she felt, towards the exit. She felt the cold air with her face. Several things felt like a mistake, and she went home. Sarah ate leftover quinoa salad standing in the kitchen. There was quinoa, cucumber, cherry tomatoes, carrots, hijiki, chia seeds, and the dressing focused on olive oil and balsamic vinegar. Sarah ate over the sink and looked at the food twice, maybe. She went upstairs and sat in bed watching YouTube videos until she fell asleep. Sarah woke up in the middle of the night because of a dream. The dream involved rock climbing, but the details were gone. Sarah thought of her ex-boyfriend, Jeff. Jeff had moved in with Sarah into her parents' house after they died in a car accident together early last year. That fall, Jeff began rock climbing. Jeff's obsession with rock climbing started with hiking. Jeff had moved into that fall, Jeff began his obsession with rock climbing. 30 minutes away from their house in San Diego was a park with a hiking trail. Sarah and Jeff went during weekends, sometimes when the weather was good. The trail was long and they always turned around somewhere to leave and go eat brunch. Once, when they finished the trail together, they saw a tall rock wall past the trees. Jeff pointed at the people climbing the rocks and said, "Look, they're wearing bright helmets," said Sarah, thinking of freshly squeezed fruit juices available at brunch restaurants. By spring, Jeff's rock climbing gear filled the closet by the laundry. He spent whole weekends at the rock wall and eventually started going early mornings before work. At night, he wrapped his bruised and sometimes bleeding hands with a special kind of tape. At the start of summer, after a big argument, Sarah took away the climbing stuff from the house. "You need to do something else," said Sarah. Jeff apologized to her and stopped going to the rock wall. Sarah felt relieved and sorry about the situation. She had told Jeff she threw away his climbing gear, but really she took them to her sister's garage. Things went back to normal again. Jeff was given a statewide employee award by Best Buy. Then Jeff quit his job as assistant manager at Best Buy and said he was moving to Denver to become a professional rock climber. He wanted Sarah to come with him. Sarah ended the relationship feeling confused and angry about professional rock climbing and not wanting to move to Denver. In bed, Sarah's mind wandered while trying to go back to sleep. She wondered about dinosaur people. If she was a dinosaur person, she decided her name would be Sarah. Sarah was called in for a shift on Saturday afternoon. Her supervisor said they were short on demonstrators. "Fine cheeseburgers," said Sarah's supervisor. Sarah moved from the corner of Costco to the middle of Costco. She was now in the part of Costco that was responding to October. Her station was located in front of stacked pallets of Halloween-themed candy. There were tall bags of candy weighing more than dead children, thought Sarah, available for people to buy. The frozen cheeseburgers came in boxes of 12. When microwaved and cut, each burger yielded 4 wedges. At first, they seemed too big, but there didn't seem to be a better way to do it. Cutting them into eighths would, it seemed, make them fall apart and look bad. People gathered in front of Sarah before the cheeseburger samples were ready. The shoppers looked tired and generally resentful of their surroundings. Sarah, while unwrapping cheeseburgers, noticed a man in an extremely large t-shirt who looked confused because his cart was going in a direction other than the direction he wanted it to go. The man slapped the side of the cart repeatedly with an open hand. This only made the cart go in the wrong direction even more, and the cart collided with a display of organic fair trade edamame pasta, making several units fall to the ground. Several people, including the man who crashed the cart, looked at the boxes of edamame pasta, knocked to the ground with unsure, changing expressions. An obese woman crushed a box of edamame pasta by stepping on it and kept walking down the aisle, continuing to hum a song to her obese dog that sat inside the cart and was not a service animal. People had formed a crude line around Sarah's station, blockading her with carts. When she had laid down the tray, a small boy came to the front and took 3 samples, leaving the paper cups empty. This happened simultaneously as a morbid obese woman was reaching for the tray. Her hand moved slowly, and the samples were gone by the time her hand touched the tray. She made a loud, surprised sound. She looked at Sarah with an accusatory facial expression, like she didn't put enough samples on the tray, as if Sarah could somehow personally profit by conserving cheeseburgers at Costco. Sarah suppressed an urge to grin so widely that her cheeks would tear apart and bleed profusely. "There's no more," the morbidly obese woman said, passive-aggressively, while slowly turning around and leaving Sarah's field of vision. Sarah was cutting more cheeseburgers with scissors when the small boy came back. "This is your last cheeseburger, okay?" said Sarah in a gentle voice. "But I like your train shirt." Sarah smiled. "Shut up," said the boy. Sarah wasn't sure, she felt, if the boy really said that. She was maybe 75% sure. There were a lot of people talking nearby. The middle of Costco was not good for hearing things. And the boy stood smiling at her in an innocent, almost sweet way. When the tray was ready, the boy pushed through several adults and took 3 samples again, and quickly ran behind the Halloween candy. A young couple in front of Sarah laughed in expressing, she felt, amused endearment and encouragement of the boy's behavior. 5 minutes later, the boy wandered close to Sarah again. "I can't give you any more samples," said Sarah. "If your parents are here, they need to get them for you." Sarah felt her heart beating faster. "You're a cunt," the boy said. His facial expression, again, didn't match what he said. The boy was smiling widely, if even sweetly, at her. Sarah, feeling dizzy and suddenly a little sick, wanted to leave for the bathroom and be alone. She regretted coming to work instead of staying at home, napping and watching TV. When the next batch was ready, Sarah offered the tray to people without laying it on the table. People watched the boy, who reached upwards and wiggled his fingers. "Please, I just want to try one," the boy cried in an unnaturally high tone. "Sorry, I'm not allowed to give samples to children," said Sarah, averting eye contact with people. "Jesus, have a heart," said a man in a gray suit. He took 2 samples and gave one to the boy. The man looked at Sarah severely before walking away, shaking his head. "Cunt," thought Sarah. "Vitamin D," thought Sarah. Something happened to dinosaurs towards the end. They became tired and gradually lost the will to do things. At the same time, they became very passive-aggressive with each other. But eventually, even that became too much, thought Sarah. The thought, quote, "be passive-aggressive today," required more energy than a dinosaur was allowed each day. Dinosaurs did very little near the end besides sleeping. They stopped roaring for mates, or they roared and ran away from that place before something could happen. Dinosaurs entered the communal phase where each individual was moderately to severely depressed, and while wordlessly steeping into an increasingly hopeless-seeming and sarcastically charged worldview, turned towards low-energy, low-impact activities such as watching internet videos of increasingly indeterminate subject matter, while without ever experiencing the urge, not even the flicker of an urge, to post a comment and risk fleeting superficial connections with other possibly like-minded dinosaurs, or trying to settle into long naps with the unabstract intent to become less and less, albeit slowly, at a measured pace, unmelodramatically, because time did that anyway, until eventually, in a total manner, and preferably somewhat painlessly, achieve obliteration. After eating dinner standing, Sarah sat in bed watching YouTube videos on her laptop. She started watching a cooking video, but then gradually became aware that she was watching a video without cooking in it. Sarah felt confused. Now Sarah was watching a makeup, quote, haul video. Sarah did not know how she ended up on a makeup, quote, haul video. In the makeup haul video, a 4-year-old girl showed her makeup things. The 4-year-old girl was saying the names of the brands of makeup she used without stumbling over words or having to repeat herself. The 4-year-old girl had many new kinds of makeup to show that she had purchased at Sephora, Nordstrom, and The Body Shop. The 4-year-old girl was telling Sarah to click on a link to go to her 4-year-old boyfriend's channel to watch his sneaker haul video. When Sarah saw the thumbnail of a rock climbing video beside another of the girl's videos. It was there because Jeff had sometimes used her laptop, Sarah thought. "Rock climber dies!" ! The video said. Sarah clicked on it. 3 men were climbing a rock wall that was almost vertical. They weren't supported by ropes or cords. It was just their hands and feet. About halfway through the video, one of the climbers fell and died. The video shooter said, "Holy shit," repeatedly. The two climbers' bodies seemed paused. One of the climbers stopped moving completely. Later, he let an orange flag dangle from his pocket. Then the other climber started again slowly. Eventually, a helicopter came and got the climber with the flag. The helicopter waited 30 seconds before leaving the other climber. "My battery is dying in literally 1 second," the video shooter said. The last climber was going to fall before the end of the video, felt Sarah, and that, while falling, he was going to think, quote, "helicopter," and not, quote, "my loved ones." He was close to the top of the rock now. The video zoomed in on him. The man rolled onto the top of the rock and immediately went into a fetal position. The video shooter said, "Holy shit," repeatedly, and then the video was over. I have 2 more pages to read. How are we doing on time? Huh? It's fine. It's fine. Okay. What do you want me to do? Okay, I'll just keep reading really fast. Who wants to hear it? Who doesn't want to hear it? Okay. All right, I'm sorry. All right, Sarah went into the kitchen and opened her fridge. She touched her forehead to a bottle of organic, non-GMO orange juice and felt like she couldn't think. Sarah thought of the box of climbing stuff in her sister's garage. She wondered about mailing the box to Denver. Sarah took out white wine from the fridge. Sarah drank a glass of white wine and then called Jeff. It went to message. "This is Sarah. Sarah called," she said. Sarah drank more white wine, then went in the bedroom and fell asleep. Sarah woke not long afterwards with a headache and feelings of restlessness. She looked at the internet for a while, then went back to sleep. When Sarah woke again, she was not on her bed. She was outside lying on the roof. She realized after a while that it was her roof. It was dark outside and she felt very thirsty. Sarah crawled around the roof of her house. She saw there was a ladder next to the chimney. When Sarah stepped on the ladder, Sarah moved wrong and the ladder fell down. The lower half of her body dangled from the roof. Sarah pulled herself back up and felt exhausted. Her heart was beating very fast. She looked down and the ladder was barely visible in the dark grass. Sarah looked at the grass where the ladder was again and felt frustration and agony. But it was funny, she felt. Other people did not get stuck on roofs. Only she did. Soon, feeling chilled by the wind, she pulled her hoodie over her knees while sitting, pulling her body inwards in a vaguely egg-like shape. She tried to think about other things and forget about being cold. It'll be morning soon anyway, Sarah thought. While sitting quietly, Sarah remembered something. It was her 7th grade teacher stressing, it seemed, that scientists were, quote, "not sure how dinosaurs went extinct." He also said that dinosaur remains tended to be concentrated in small areas, in steep valleys and gorges. He didn't explain, or Sarah forgot why it was like that. Sarah remembered thinking to herself, not telling anyone, that it was because large groups of dinosaurs, having suddenly abandoned their activities, decided to jump from the same cliff, overlooking the Rio Colorado Formation in Argentina, or the Yangtze River Delta in China, or somewhere close to her school. Dinosaurs formed a very straight line and waited patiently for their turn at the nearly vertical rock cliff. The mid-air facial expressions of Argentine dinosaurs were just as neutral seeming as those of Chinese dinosaurs when they jumped, thought Sarah. Yeah, I'll stop there. Thank you.